Hello everyone, my name's Rochelle. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back to another episode of the Mindset series where today we are talking about why you feel behind when you're actually not. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I'm doing so well, but why do I still feel so far behind? You are not behind, but you are comparing yourself excessively to people around you, to people online, to anyone and everything you possibly can, and that is making you feel less than what you actually are. When we feel behind, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are actually behind. Like, when we think about it, even that idea in itself is crazy. It's so subjective, the idea of what behind is. What deems what we should have done by a certain time or a certain age is just a wild concept that when we think about it, like, really, why does it matter that society has set up timelines for things that we think we have to meet and we have to do these things because everyone around us is doing that thing? I think everyone recognizes that social media makes comparison so easy. We can see so many people from all around the world, from all different financial status, from all different areas, that it makes it so easy to feel like we should be able to have what these other people have too. And we're not considering that maybe our life is meant to be different, or maybe it's okay for our life to be different than what we're seeing online. And in that same breath, we have to remember that everything we see online, or at least most of it, is definitely a highlights reel, and that people are only putting out there what they want you to see. Maybe they have this fancy new car, but it's fully financed. Maybe you're driving your 2007 Kia, but you've paid it off. You know, that gets you from A to B, and that's all that really matters. Maybe you don't need this designer car, but you feel like you should have it because they have it too. And that's simply not the case. We need to start to look at what's important to us as individuals and what we really want from life. And we can spend money and do things that contribute to the things we want from life, not just what everyone else has because we think that we need it because everyone's doing it. And actually, in all truth, it's probably not everyone's doing it. Not everyone has a nice car. Like, when we drive around, we're driving to work. Do we see every person that we pass in, you know, a $100,000 car? No, we don't. So it's just the fact that when we go on Instagram and we see everyone with $100,000 cars, we think that's normal, but it is not normal. If you actually kind of bring yourself back to reality and have a think about it, a lot of the things that we're seeing on Instagram, we do not see from our community or the people around us. So we're normalizing stuff we see online and thinking that correlates directly to our life, and it just simply isn't working like that. It's also got to remember that there's always going to be someone that's like a little bit more successful than you, or a little bit further ahead than you, or they've already done this, or they've already done that. That's like naturally going to happen. We're all going to achieve things at different rates and time, and we can't get down on ourselves because we're seeing someone else with these things that we want and we haven't got. We just have to acknowledge the fact that we will get there. It's just going to take time and maybe a little more work from us. And I think when we shift the focus onto comparing ourselves and feeling like we're behind and focusing on all the things other people have, we really lose sight of all the amazing things we do already have. And a really great exercise for this, to kind of overcome this and ground yourself, is just practicing gratitude. Like, at dinner tonight, I want you to share with your partner, your family, your friends, whoever you live with. If it's alone, you can share it with yourself. It doesn't matter, but share and speak out loud 3 things you are grateful for that happened today or that you have. And these can be simple things, like, think about how grateful we should be to have a roof over our head, to be able to sit down and have a meal inside our 4 walls, to be able to have a phone so we can access the internet, we can call our family who live overseas, we can do all of these things. Like, there's so many things to be grateful for, and they don't need to be huge things. They don't even need to be material things. They can be, I'm grateful for my friend because they always check up on me, or I'm grateful for my dog because I love giving him cuddles. It's like 1,000 million different things. And in fact, if you're really committed, you could get yourself one of those gratitude journals and you could write these down daily. And I guarantee you, after 3 months, you look back on that and you are going to feel so much more fulfilled, so much more grounded, and you're going to realize that you actually have, you probably already have what you need and already what you really want. And you're just thinking you want these things that you see all over the internet because you're conditioned to believing that that's what we need and that's what you're seeing every day. And another thing we can really do here to kind of take a step back and focus on the things that we do want. And maybe we do want things, which is fine, right? But they have to be things that are actually meaningful to us and that are going to, you know, have a positive impact on our lives, not just doing it because it's cool to share on Instagram. And I think curating your list of the people you follow is really important in doing this. Like, if you are following people who are achieving all these amazing things, and I do not want to take away anyone's success or any, you know, like, how impressive that they've done that for themselves, like, that's amazing. But if you ask yourself, this is not what I really want, or is this what I really want, and it's not, then you probably shouldn't be following them. And they're probably fantastic people, but if we're following them and we're seeing all these things that they have, but we know we don't want that, but every day we look and get conditioned to thinking that that's what we need to do because this person's doing it, that's kind of a little toxic for ourselves. And it's not saying that those people are toxic. What I'm saying is we are just like brainwashing ourselves into thinking we need all these things because that's what we see every single day. Like, if you wanted a wholesome life, if you start following a bunch of wholesome people who live like wholesome lives and that do thrift shopping and all of these cool things, and you're okay with that and you're seeing that, you're like, yep, this is the life I want, this is similar to where I want to be, then that's fantastic. But if you're following, you know, millionaire influencers who have all the new cars and designer clothes and things, and you realize that that's not really that important to you, maybe it's not important to wear designer brands. For some people it is, and that's flipping amazing. For some people it's not going to be designer brands. It could be cars, it could be something not even materialistic. And I think what's important is that you just align yourself and the people you follow with the person you want to be. And it doesn't matter who that is, because it can be, you know, you might want to be an influencer, you might want to have all these nice things, you might not. You might care more about family time and not having to work as much so you can, you know, spend time with your kids or whatever it may be. The important thing is that you're aligning yourself with the type of person that you want to be, and that the content that you are consuming is positive for you. And it's totally okay to be following people who have things that you may want, because that is going to, you know, help you manifest and drive yourself towards those goals. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, if you're sitting on your phone and every post you see, you're like, oh, I wish I had that, and it's making you feel a certain type of way in a negative way, then they're probably not the right people to be following. That's all I'm saying. We also have to remember that feeling behind can be really easy because of like hedonic adaptation, right? Like, when we have something for long enough, it becomes our new normal. And maybe that this new thing that we had was amazing 3 months ago, but now that we have it, it's like, you know, I can do better, I want more. That's because we are accustomed to having it. It's like, it's almost as if we always had it, and we are always going to be looking for more. That is just the way we are wired. Like, psychologically, we are going to want more and more and more. And it's really hard to put, you know, a roof on that, because it's just the way we are. And that's a human thing to do, is to want the next best thing, right? To want to improve and to want to be better and to want whatever it is that we want. And I think sometimes we can fall or feel behind because we're so used to having this amazing thing, which, you know, there's probably a million people out there who want that thing that you have, and you already have it, and you think, oh, this isn't good enough, I want the next one. I think we have to remember with like feeling behind is that any success like has a delay, right? There's lots of work we have to put in to get a result, and you may be putting in all of this work and not feeling like you're getting anywhere, but at the end of the day you are, and the results are compounding behind or under the surface, and it's just a matter of time until they pay off for you and that you feel like you're actually moving forward. And I think when we're kind of in that interim point where we're working so hard and